It's about that time, isn't it? I suppose I better get started. First things first, can everybody hear me? Can everybody, well, not see me because I've got the splash screen in the way. Let's get rid of that. Ta-da! Can everybody see me? Look, me. There's me. Woo! Can everybody see me and hear me and stuff over the sounds of my creaking chair? I'm going to go with probably and press on regardless. Right, cool. Welcome to another live stream. Hello, Mick. Where I'm going to attempt to paint this chap here from the Curse City set. He's the last, I think, last villain I've got to paint. So I'm going to try and do a reasonably good job on him. What have I been doing? What have I been doing these past week since the last one, I suppose? Well, I have nearly completed all of the Curse City miniatures. Just got them over here. I did this guy the other day, or yesterday possibly. The Varg Skier, or whatever his name is. Big angry black wolf thing. It was a lot of fun to paint. That's basically just airbrushed contrast paints over a white dry brushed zenithal, and that works out really well, I think. Some nice colours on that. Did these guys a while back. I need to finish off their bases. Little and large, or larger and larger. Yeah, they need purple bases, so I might get to them later. I have done Gorslav the Grave Lord, who looks a lot better in person than he did on my Instagram photos. I have a tendency to use a dark background type thing for my my Instagram pictures because it gives them a sort of a dramatic feel. But I think I need a new camera, or a camera would help, because they all seem to be a little bit out of focus. Because the digital zoom on phone cameras is useless generally. So that's what's going on there. But they look okay in person. Very cool. Let's put these guys back. And the other bad guy I have not quite finished, but he's getting there. Here's an experiment I've been doing with oil paints. He needs a bit of work, but oh my word, blending with oil paints is just so easy. If you've not experimented with oil paints, or you're afraid of pulling the trigger on them, don't be, and do pull the trigger on them, because they are absolutely fantastic. In fact, I may or may not do some tonight. Don't know. See what we've got time for. And there's another bad guy. Did him ages ago. Again, this is just the zenithal with contrast paints over the top and a little bit of weathering on it. Dead quick, dead effective. And I suppose I better show off the heroes, seeing as they're now all done, mostly. There's herself. Names I can't remember, but she is a Sylvaneth elf. Kelthalis or something. Oh, that might be from D&D. I don't know. I can't remember. Whatever her name is. She's one of them. Oh, you can actually see a bit of the glitter on there. Yeah, purple glitter. Put my teeth back in. Put purple glitter on the base for these. Because it gives it a little bit sort of... Because they're supposed to be on Shyish, which is the plane of death, which is all tied to amethyst, or made of amethyst, and amethyst is necromantic magics and such. So I thought, yeah, why not? Let's give a hint of amethyst in the actual soil they're fighting over. He is... can't remember what his name is. Again, names. I can look these things up. Anyone want to know the names? Didn't think so. Happening anyway. Where are you? He is Grunthhusk the Flatulent. No, Brutog Corpse Eater is him. And for the sake of argument, what was the elf's name? Calathis. Close enough. Calathis the Exile. Let's get him out of the way. Have a look a bit more at Thingy Glimscry. Octon Glimscry, I think. Yeah, Octon Glimscry. I've been listening to the audiobook for Cursed City. My brain tonight, I tell you what. And he's quite a character. So yeah, he's done. And there is what's her name? Captain Imelda Braskoff, former head of the Orphan Watch Guard. She looks she's every bit as sort of self-righteous and paladinly and naive as she looks in the book. So she's done. There's the popular guy, the Witch Hunter. I think he looks super cool. These guys look absolutely fantastic on the table, I think. Marvellous. And the dwarf dude, steampunk dwarf, whose name is Bob, possibly. Dagnai Holdenstock, there we are. Now he's deep in debt to somebody, but he's keeping up appearances by faking it and borrowing more and putting himself further in debt, so he's quite funny. Can relate to him. And there's the noble, whose name is Geoffrey or Nigel. No, Glario van Elton. There we are. I think I might stick a bit of matte varnish on the jacket because that's shining a little bit more, but there's oils at play there as well. Hero Miniatures, I don't put any metallics on these. This is all NMM, which I'm not very good at, but yeah, you don't try these things, you don't learn. And there was one more. Oh yes, Dodgy Cleric Woman, who isn't quite finished. This is Cleona Sightengale, who is a priestess of Sigmar, because isn't everyone? So yeah, there's a little bit more detail needs doing on her. But again, there's a few touches of oil there as well. I'm getting into the oil, I really am. I think it's going to be a very valuable tool. Cool, well, that's them. What else have I got to paint? I have got to paint. I have done lots of bats and rats and things. These are pure oils, and I've got to paint all these guys at some point. If I get him again with the names out of the way, I might have a go at a couple of the zombies. Oh, there's just so much detail on these things. They're just oof, they are. They're just like mini characters. They're crazy. Oh, that one. Oh, they're just wonderful. I love everything about what the story these miniatures tell. Well, she looks a bit like cool. I've got an idea for the colours for her. She looks like the girl with the pearl earring. You're going to tell me you don't know what the girl with the pearl earring is now, aren't you? One moment. Where are we? Girl with the pearl earring. Classic painting. I think that'll look pretty cool because she's definitely got that headdress, hasn't she? An undead girl with a pearl earring. Fantastic. Decision made. There she is again. There's a couple of duplicates here. Oh, look at them. They're just wrong. Oh, in every respect, wrong. Yep. And they're all going to have to look slightly different in colours they used and everything like that. It's just a lot of work to be done there. Right, so should we get some colour on these guys? What should we do? Now I have been looking at the studio miniature for this guy. Trying to get some inspiration. That's not them. Oh, God, they're not even trying, are they? Those are Space Marines all day long. Space Marines or Adeptus Custodes or something. They're just not even slightly fantasy anymore. Right, where are they? Radukar. Let's have a look. So, oh no! What are we doing? Ah! Radukar the Wolf. Him. He looks alright. Where's the spinny round? There we are. Loading. That's not COVID at all, I promise you. Oh, I kind of like his coat thing. That's quite. I might whip that. That's kind of black green. Contrasts quite well with the red trousers, which I'm probably not going to do. I might do that in purple. Black boots. There's a lot of colour going on there. Yeah, we can do something with that. Cool. So let's ignore that. And look to our contrast paints. Now I have prepped this miniature ahead of time, showing a despicable level of preparedness, which is unlike me. I think I might be ill. I think we're going to go with. So yeah, this guy's been zenithalled with a thick white acrylic, titanium white. So find it. Where's the tube? Tube. Yeah. Regular, ordinary, artist grade white acrylic, and it's quite thick, so you get a nice textured effect. So if you look on the back on his coat, it's got kind of a what will look like a sort of a velvety kind of texture to it when it's been overpainted. And I don't know, shall we push our luck and go with stripes for the trousers? Wow, there's some major hero pants. God knows how many ferrets you get in there. How many do you reckon? How many ferrets in them? I think they're going to be at least 20. 20 ferret hero pants. Easy. Cool. So I think we're going to go with a little bit of. What shall we do? Creed camo is probably not going to cut it. Oh, it might. That rich green eyes coat. I did say I was going to go with that, didn't I? I'm having second thoughts now. What shall we do? What shall we do with the German vampire? The Austrian, clearly Russian, Polish? Eastern European vampire thing. I think we will go with. See, how much do I want him looking like? Looking like these dudes. I mean, I don't really. Although, I kind of want to preserve that feel because I'm pretty much resigned to buying a Soulblight army now. Pretty much resigned. Hey CA, how you doing? Yep, stripy trousers. I think we're pretty much decided for that, aren't we? Stripy trousers. Stripy trousers. Stripy trousers. No, that's baggy trousers, isn't it? Although they are pretty baggy. Come on, decisions. I need some Black Templar anyway. I think we will go with some Volupus Pink, some Black Templar, Shyish Purple because I'm going to need that for the base anyway. We will have a look at the green and see where we land on that. Let's have a look. So a little spot of that out on the palette, which I sprayed with Wraithbone. Oh, that might work. That might work. Yeah, alright. Green it is. And I can always play around with oils a bit later. Yes! Yes! Green it is, and I'll play around with oils a bit later. That shirt of his. Is it a shirt? Answers on a postcard. I think it probably is, isn't it? That's a torn shirt rather than wounded body, isn't it? Yeah. Yep, we'll go with that. So I'm thinking probably going to need a bit of that for an off-white shirt. Colour frost stripes. So we've got gonna have some green going on with the jacket. That's Creed camo. And we're probably going to do some Volupus Pink. I think one of the stripes on the trousers will end up Volupus Pink. Yep. Now it's going to end up looking like a stick of rock if I paint his trousers pink and white, isn't he? I don't want that. I don't think that's particularly in his idiom. So we might do pinky purpley black. So, because black and purples are always a firm favourite, a winner with goths everywhere. So there we go. Oh, that's got kind of a blue note to it as well. That's, yeah, alright. Alright, we'll do that. Black and purple, stripy trousers, done. That was for the shirt. Shyish purple for the base. What else have we got to go on here? Some leathery type stuff. What have we got? Snakebite leather would be obvious. And there's nothing wrong with obvious. I'm thinking wildwood. I'm thinking wildwood because it's a nice deep brown, sort of burnt sienna kind of colour. I'm thinking it, and as I've started thinking it, I've completely lost that paint. Again, it is the prophecy. Right, there it is. You wildwood, you are wildwood. All day long you are wildwood. We see you wilding, they hating. Right, there we go. Any more colours, or we're going to have to actually start painting? Yes. No. Yes. Yes, we're going to need Agaros Dunes and some Basilicon and Grey. Should I just tip my entire collection of contrast paints onto the table here? I think that might be the way forward. And possibly some Apothecary White but I don't think so. Okay, let's get some paint onto the finish. Get a nice fresh brush. What's that? 0. We've got a 3. We've got a 3. Somebody lend me a 3. I can't see a 3. I might have to. Be a 3 in there. Not COVID. Where are we? Don't play with knives, kids. You'll be a 3, won't you? Yeah, 3. Lovely. Put that over there. Glasses, 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 glasses. Can we see through the glasses? No. Gotta wipe them. Everything I said about preparation was a lie. Still not COVID. Right, okay. Now I can see. Brilliant. Right, what should we start with? Now, traditional wisdom says start from the innermost and work outwards. So we're looking for flesh areas, and I think the only bits of flesh on him are his hands and his face. He is very much the vampire. So, what we're going to do when they come for you is we are going to use a bit of, this is where we get crazy. Is that white spirit? That's white spirit. Okay. Use a bit of oil. Now this has been there overnight pretty much. A little bit of white spirit to reactivate it. Not that you need to leave this there overnight, in fact you probably shouldn't, but it's showing how resilient the paint can be. Actually, I may have be about to let myself down here, but let's have a look. Alright, so this is a nice magenta colour, so we'll get that on there. Or it was a nice magenta colour, and we're getting that right on there. Where it's going to sit. And you probably think I'm crazy. You might be right. Be right, but purple flesh, slightly purple tinged. Once you get the thing in the way, and wipe it away. Makeup sponge. Get in there, get that paint off there. And you end up with a pale skin with a sort of a purple tinge to it, which looks quite cool for vampires. I don't know why it looks cool for vampires, but it kind of does, and I'm okay with that. So that's his skin done. Get some nice colours going on the beard there, aren't they? Now, of course, I just dipped that in my water, which isn't going to help get the oil off. Right, get that off there, whatever that is. I don't know whether that's black or brown. I think brown. So let's get that on there. Yeah, that's brown. All day long that's brown. That'll do. And again with a wipey sponge. Alrighty then. Okay, let's actually get some contrast paints on there, eh? What should we start with? Okay, so next to his skin, the next closest thing will probably be his shirt. That will be done shortly. Is anything else on there going to be sort of bony coloured? Yes. Teeth. Some more teeth there on the other wolf. Now I can't work out whether he's covered himself in two wolves here or whether the wolf that he's killed is some sort of chaotic two-headed thing. I'm thinking chaotic two-headed. If anyone knows different. Let's get a bit of gold on that as well. Say gold, not actually gold. Sort of brass coloured. So we're just sketching the colours and letting the underpainting do the work, because that's how we roll. To do with his hat. It's a decision for later. Okay. Right. Let's take a look at that jacket. Seeing as it's a nice big blocky area. Creed camo we said, wasn't it? Let's get that on the vortex mixer. Oh, there's my other pot of wildwood. Things you notice when you turn around. Right. Vortex mix away. Oh, green is a beast for separating, I've noticed. Right, there we go. I was going to put that on with a nice big 3, wasn't it? But I think I might change my mind and use an 8. And then you'll see what I mean about this effect. Let's get a bit of that in a palette. Get a bit of contrast medium in there as well, thin it down a bit. Oh, come on! About 2 to 1. Paint to contrast, paint to medium. Just to thin it down a little bit. So it goes further and you get a lighter tone on there as well. If you go in there and just put it on just like that. Just like that. You will see all that wonderful work that the underpainting has done. There's a nice clothy texture. We can blend it in a bit better later. The trick with contrast, as I'm sure you know, is not to go over the same spot twice if you can help it, especially if there's been a little bit of time in between for the paint to dry, because if you go over dry paint or drying contrast paint again, especially if you thinned it like this, it can tear. Which I'm sure if you're familiar with my channel you will have seen many times. Because as I'm always keen to point out, I am not a professional painter. Not by any length of stick. And that's why I decided to make this channel and do this sort of content, because if I can do it, guarantee you can too. This is nothing complicated that I'm doing here, nothing at all. A trained monkey such as myself can pull this off and end up with a reasonably decent looking miniature ready for you on tabletop. There we go. So that looks kind of worn and got some lovely colour going on there. Nice, 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 nice. And it contrasts well with the grey of the... let's do this cuffs and the sleeve. Can't leave them alone. Got some detail to pick out there on the sleeve as well, which is good. Always nice to know there's something to muck up at a later date. Now, an old friend from uni approached me a while back asking me if I did commissions, because he had bought a red, well, he wanted it red, a dragon miniature, but he was struggling to differentiate light and shade with red, because like a good number of men are, a surprising number of men are, he was colourblind, and still is. So I told him I didn't really think I was up to commissions, but I gave him some advice that he said he found helpful, and that was to do what I'm doing here basically, which is the zenithal over the black. So your actual shading is done with the white and the black paint, and then you just go over it with a contrast paint, and the shading pretty much takes care of itself. So there we go. If anyone out there is colourblind, contrast paints. Okay, what are we going to do now? What are we going to do? I'm thinking, such is the rumour, I'm thinking trousers. I've been putting them off. Been putting off the trousers, but they're going to happen. Okay, start with the purple. Eight people watching, my word, my word. Who are you, new people? Thank you for tuning in. If you want to chat, as it says in the corner of the screen, you'll need to subscribe. Otherwise we get spammers coming in here and telling us gibberish. A nice, ideally new brush for doing stripes and things, and you'll still mess it up, as I'm about to. He says, foreshadowing. The easiest way to do stripes is to pick a point and just get started. As flippant as that sounds, it is the truth. You can't overthink. And try, where possible, to follow the cloth. And in areas that aren't obvious, because you know who's going to be looking up his trousers, you can afford to be a little bit less careful. Hey Paul. It's definitely got some stripes going on there, isn't it? Let's try and neaten that up a bit. Yeah, that'll do. We'll go around the other side. Tell you what, if you feel you're under pressure when you're doing stripes and diamonds and stuff under normal circumstances, you try and do it when you're on a live stream and everyone's watching you. You just try. There we go. It actually looks kind of okay just like that, isn't it? I mean, it does kind of look like a stick of rock, but forgivably so, I think. What do we reckon? Well, while we've got this paint out, we're going to go into the wounds on the wolf's head. Give them a bit of colour. And I think we're now done with that. Decisions. Okay, do you know what? Black noses, haven't they? There's me black, shade purple. No, that's not black, is it? Well, the wildwood will do. It's a brown, but it's a blacky brown. Deep burnt umber. There we are. Get that nose on the wolf, put him oh, I know what else we use the wildwood for, and it'll make sense in a bit. And that is the blade of a scimitar. Again, if you can manage it, you want to keep your brush strokes with contrast, he says, as smooth and even as you can, he says. Which I grant you looks rubbish at the moment, but it will make sense in a bit. So Paul first coming up, who's psyched for that? Anyone? Nah, me neither. Of course I am. Of course I am. For anyone who doesn't know, that's a gaming event happening in Belper in March sometime. Late March. Open to members of Say Hi Paul's Discord. So if you're not a member of Say Hi Paul's Discord and you're not watching his stuff, well, I don't think anyone that applies to anyone on my channel. I very much doubt it does. Give him a look, give him a join, give him a like, and come along to the gaming session. We're all narrative gamers, so it's not really about the winning. It's totally about the winning. It's about the storytelling, but it's also about the winning. So you're not likely to see complete nonsense lists. They're all going to be in keeping with the narrative of the 40k universe. So your Imperial Guard are not going to show up with, I don't know, 6 rapier destroyers or something, just because they can. But the lists will be slightly more balanced and task focused. And the people are really cool as well. I went to the last one and there's not a wrong un amongst them. What am I taking to Porfest? I am taking myself. That's about as much as I can attest to at the moment. I will hopefully have some guard ready, 500 points off. I will probably have some Eldar ready, 500 points off. I think I might bring some Marines. I might bring my Blood Ravens out to play. So I've not played them yet. And I think they need an outing. What else was I going to do with that? Oh yes, that's what I was going to do with that. That's my wildwood. There it is. Boots. His boots need to be painted. Let us paint his boots. Boots need to be brown. Zenithal underpainting just does all of the work. All of the work. Once you've got the basic contrast paints on, you can stick it on a table and it will look absolutely fine. You notice I am thinning my contrast paints, contrary to the marketing that came out at the time. One thick coat is not the way to proceed with contrast paints. Certainly not one thick coat over just Wraithbone or just Grey Seer. That will not give you a good looking miniature. And the irritating thing about these paints is they all have different properties. So how the brown behaves is not how the purple is going to behave, or the blue or the red. So you kind of have to learn as you go along what each of these paints does and how they act. And considering they're not the cheapest paints in the world by any length of stick, it can be a little bit frustrating. If you get hold of a paint that you just don't like how it behaves. It behaves in a completely unexpected way. Let's get some brown on there as well. I think that wants to be brown. Right, so what's going on with his hero belt in the background? What are we going to do with that? Let's get some brown on there as well. You see it's starting to come along. There's a lot of light and shade and such like that. That's exactly what we want. Exactly what we want. For the grim dark style, which is my chosen style, get that in there as well. Oh, hi, Kren. Yeah, absolutely right. That from all the reviews I've seen, that's entirely true, and I should be getting getting the entire range and putting it to hopefully good use. So I suspect there might be a video out about them. Let's get some. And again, this is wildwood, just dipping into the ears to create a little bit of extra shadow. Let's give it a manicure, why not? While we're here. Manicure, pedicure? Pedicure, I suppose. Peticure? Because he's a pet now. Ooh. Yeah, there we go. Poor little doggos. Roll, roll, roll. Now, the more that I'm looking at these multiple hero pants, the more I'm thinking I kind of want to leave them as purpley reddy white, because it contrasts nicely with the green of the cloak coat thing. Oh, I'm going to attack that with the wheels in a bit. I thought I liked it, I don't. Okay, Basilicanum Grey, that's Black Templar, that's Creed Camo. One of these paints is not like the other. There we are. Oh, that's separated out as well. Right, onto the vortex with it. One moment. See, YouTube, you can't demonetize me because you've not monetized me in the first place. Wah, wah. For anyone who doesn't know, that tune is called, I think it's called The Devil's Gallop or something. You look it up, it was a tune from a detective series, a spy series, co-opted by Sir Digby Chicken Caesar. Now prepare for the exciting adventures of me! Right. Again, that's a little bit of spot of contrast medium in with the Basilicanum Grey. Thin it down a little bit. That's roughly 50-50. It doesn't want to be. Probably wants to be about third to 2/3 paint. Let's get that on the chain mount, scale mount. Get that in there. And again, because we've gone in with the underpainting, the highlighting there almost takes care of itself, and it ends up looking pretty close to metallic without any kind of additional messing about. See, fussing was what I was reaching for there before you think otherwise. Right. I just can't make sense of this wolf cloak. I really can't. I don't know what's going on there. But let's get a bit of water in there as well. Water and contrast paints are not best friends. But we'll press on. Just try and create a bit more shadow and definition between the different layers. Oh, we've got a bit of brown in there as well. Okay, that's cool. Whatever, that doesn't matter. If anything, it makes it look a little bit more natural. Because if you've ever looked at any kind of animal's fur, it's not monochromatic. There's all sorts of colours in there. And the light catching it in odd ways creates new colours. So we're just deepening the shadows with a little bit of thinned down contrast. So the tutorials on my channel have kind of fallen by the wayside a little bit. There are reasons for that, mostly mental health reasons. I've fallen into the trap of thinking I don't really have much to teach anyone, because this is pretty much all I do. Once you've seen this one, you've seen it once, you've seen it all the times. So that's why they've fallen off a little bit. I'm sure I'll come out of that funk eventually. But if anyone has any suggestions for anything they'd like to see me attempt to demonstrate, I am all ears. Because that will give me the motivation to actually do it. And help me fight that, what do they call it, imposter syndrome. And you're thinking, well, what are you doing? Everyone can do this. And that's exactly right, because everyone can. I'm not breaking any ground here at all. Everyone can do this. Right, I'm using contrast paints pretty much like just a shade. I'm not sort of lathering it over everything, although I could do that. But I just want spots of shade and colour. And the way contrasts are formulated, they don't behave quite like what would I otherwise be using off of this? Agrax or Seraphim Sepia or anything, or any of the inks. They behave differently, so they're a bit more controllable. They don't pool as much. Oh, oof, oof. Primarchs, mate. Primarchs. They are. I mean, I could. Gonna need a run up to that one though, because those things are not cheap. Although, having said that, I do have a sub for. Guy's coming along, isn't he? He's coming along. A sub for Imperium, and at least one Primarch is going to be in that. So, Guilliman, I will probably do on the channel, and I'm definitely going to do those Eldar when they arrive. I think the challenge will be to not do the same camo pattern as Louise did on the Games Workshop studio models, because I think a lot of people are going to be doing that. That's going to look very samey. So I have a few ideas for that. Cheaper versions of the third-party models, because we're not at home to Mr. Reprint here. Yeah, I know the ones you mean. There's ArtLW and all sorts of things that do variations, their own takes on various Primarchs. I might have a look for that. And that's fine. Third-party variations on those miniatures is fine. But as we all know, you can get hold of reprints of Games Workshop miniatures very cheaply, and we are not at home to that. There's a lot more brown than I thought was creeping into this, but yeah, I'm okay with that. What's this? I think you ought to do some tutorials on how to rescue space marines that look flat and uninteresting. I just happen to know we get a large selection of models to experiment with. Do you indeed? I'm sure they're not as bad as you're saying, Cron. I'm sure. But I can certainly do that. I'm sure I've got some flat and uninteresting space marines somewhere I can source. If not in my own collection, then certainly on eBay. I've done a Space Marine. Yeah, in fact, if you like the Grimdark style, I've done a tutorial on how to do. Admittedly, it's Blood Ravens, but the techniques will work for pretty much any chapter. You just change the colours. Tutorial on how to do the Grimdark Space Marines with a stippling technique, and that is on my channel. So have a look, and that will quite happily go over other painting techniques, other painting, and makes things a bit more interesting. There we go. I'm liking the amount of colour that's getting introduced into this here. It's very getting a very sort of natural sort of. There we are. And this is not how you use or not how you're supposed to use contrast paints. So I've noticed contrast paints are a fantastic tool. For using in ways other than the way they tell you to. That's where the brown comes from. Oh no, that's not brown. That's great. Oh no, I don't know where the brown's coming from. I keep dipping into that every now and again, don't I? I have to review I'm going to have to review the footage to see what I'm doing. But I like it, so you know. Right. Let's get a bit more of that going on round there. Roll, roll, roll. Poor little doggy. Oh, you know. Oh, he coming along good. Right. Do a series where you kit bash Space Marine models and paint them up to represent all the models that. Righto. And how would I decide? We can't even decide which biscuit each Primarch is. How on earth am I supposed to decide which Space Marine chapter is represented by each of the Say Hi Paul community? That's crazy talk. Crazy talk. What am I going to do next? What am I doing next? How do I paint? How do I paint? I'm going to leave that white because that's a nice interesting colour there. Oh, I know. I know. I know. I know. I know what I'm going to do. What am I going to do? I'm going to do... Where is it? I've lost it. No, can't lose it. I wanted to do that. Yeah, there we are. Onto the vortex. That doesn't need much mixing at all. Okay. Over the camera. Little spot of ink. Liquitex acrylic ink, titanium white, fantastic stuff. Get it in your life. It's what I'm using for zenithal highlighting these days, and it behaves beautifully. It is a beautiful, beautiful colour. You know that hat? That hat says Arctic Fox to me. That doesn't say wolf. I think I might inject a bit more colour into that a bit later. But what we were going to do with this, we were going to use the tip of this number 3 brush, which still comes to a fantastic tip, and introduce a few spot highlights onto the belt there. Just a few like that, just to raise the light levels around there, just to give the suggestion that it might be metal. Oops. I'll do that with the scale mail as well, and I might brush a tint over that so that it's brass, because where are they? Where are they? Where is he? Yoo-hoo! There we are. There we are. So all the scale mail on these guys is a sort of a brass colour. So I think that's we will echo that on our big dude here. But we need a bit more spot highlighting just to elevate the light levels a bit, because I think he probably takes better care of his armour than they do. They are rather mindlessly past caring. So just adding a few more spots to just the very tips and edges of the scales, just to pick out the details. You could just dry brush over that, and under normal circumstances, if he wasn't a character, I probably would. Let's get a bit more white going on these, just to raise that as well. Just I kind of want to the one thing about this Liquitex ink is it plays quite nicely with the contrasts. Kind of want to raise the light level on his shirt a little bit. Just a little bit. Now I'm imagining a light source coming down from there, that direction, as I always do. So anything that you can see from this angle needs a little bit of highlighting. Give the illusion that he's actually in the environment. There we go. And that's added a bit more interest to him. You know what, the more I look at it, I don't think that's actually a shirt at all. It is now. It is now. Let's get a bit of edge highlighting on there as well. Let's put a bit of colour in there. Just randomly. Give it a bit of colour and interest, so that it's not flat white, or indeed flat grey. Just spot that colour around. Hopefully it'll be a little bit more distinct from the from the surrounding wolf fur. Still not liking his coat. I might do something with that later. Where might read will. Okay. What are we doing here? I know. Time to start picking out. Oh God, don't get distracted. I don't wanna do this. I wanna do this. Without highlighting. Because it's metal. And it needs it. Yes. You see what I mean about this. The wildwood and the Agaros dunes on the leading part of the blade. Just give that suggestion of who makes a sword out of brass, I mean honestly, but it's not silver, which is what I was going for, not sort of steel, or if it is, it's corroded. I think these are probably a bit subtle to show up on camera. Yeah, it's all too subtle to show up on camera. We'll go with that. Tell you what, Crane, I'll come up to you some point and give you a few pointers on your marines. If you can give me some pointers on taking pictures of my miniatures, because I'm lousy at it and I need to be better. If anyone's confused, I know Crane of old. We go quite a long way back. Thank you, Joe. You can do this. You can absolutely do this. There is nothing that I'm doing that is beyond any of you. Nothing. Now, am I leaving those trousers as is? Answers on a postcard. I keep looking at that jacket and thinking, I'll do something about that. Right. There'll be no nat hoofing. I've learnt that lesson. I probably deserve that. This is the only real fiddly bit on the model. And you notice I'm trying to use, rather than the tip of the brush, use the side. Because if you go tip down, you're more likely to dip the brush in between the detail, and you're more likely to ruin the tip of your brush actually. So if possible, always try to use the side of your brush. Always, always, always. And my words, if you haven't got this Liquitex ink in your arsenal, get it there, because it is really very good. The amount of pigment it has is incredible, which means it gets really good coverage, and it's an ink, so it flows off the brush really well. No, I'm not going to tell them the story. They're here to watch me paint, not here to hear about how your dog interfered with me. Although I'm sure they'd now love to know, so you know, thanks for that. Right. Agarox Dunes. Agarox. Which is a nice sort of sepia yellow. But it reads as gold. Really nicely. Brassy gold. If you get it down in the right place over the right colours. Look at that. Yeah, if you have to say you're helping, Crun, you're not. Them's the rules. And you'll notice I've not used a bit of metallic on this miniature yet. I may not. Well, I probably will. Because if you get your underpainting right, and it's hard to oh god, here we go. Nobody read chat. I'm going to turn off chat. Where even was I? Yeah, the underpainting's really not hard. Not hard at all. It is literally just... How did I do this? I used a makeup brush like that. Got it in the white paint. All from one direction. Downwards. All over plain black primer. This stuff. And that's how it came out. Only now with more colour. Right. I'm wondering whether I'm finished with that now. That sounds like a good time to shut the stream. Nope. Right, yeah, okay. I think I'm going to get the oil paints out again. So that's mostly green. Where are my oil paints? Where did I leave them? Oh, there they are. Let's have a look. I think that's going to be a nice deep green, isn't it? It is. And let's get some of that lighter green. This is how new these are. I haven't even got open this one yet. First time you squeeze these, you'll probably get a little bit of linseed oil coming out. That's okay. It's actually even useful. Sure, I had a moderator in this channel, you know. Somebody was definitely set up to moderate. There we go. Still, I love that dog. That dog was amazing. There was forgiveness. Much forgiveness. Nothing, Mick. Nothing. You didn't miss nothing. Don't read the channel. You think you can trust people, and then they turn on you. Right, so oil paints. Oil paints I know next to nothing about, so this is an experimental stage. It may go all kinds of wrong, but you can blend these like nobody's business. I mean, even just sticking that down on top of there is just, oh, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful green. I think. Nice big thick brush. These are synthetic brushes, by the way. You don't want to be using sable with oils, really, or indeed contrasts. Don't use your best Kolinsky sable with contrasts, because they have a tendency to get all up into the ferrule and mess the brushes up. So get yourself some synthetics, as cheap or as expensive as you like, and work with them if you're using contrasts. Right, there we go. Let's get a bit more of the deep green on there. Oh, look at that, that's a beautiful colour. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Right, let's see if we can get a bit of brown in the deeper recesses. Just a happy little bit of brown. Work that into the deeper areas. And you're probably thinking, well, why go to all that trouble if there's zenithal prime if you're just going to paint it over with a reasonably opaque paint? And well, it still kind of gives you the impression, sketching out where the light and shadow is going to be. From there, you know where to work in. Oh crap! Right. I mean, oh bother! Bit of white spirit. So if you make a mistake with oils, they're actually quite easy to remedy with a bit of white spirit. I say remedy, I mean make worse, obviously, because I'm doing it. Just wipe it away. Buff sticks. Where's me brush that I was using? There we are. Let's pop a bit more of that light colour down on top. So the thing about oils is light colour will sit quite happily on top of dark, which is like acrylics in reverse. It's probably an easy way of thinking about it. Plonk that down there on the raised areas. Okay. This is where it all comes together, all goes completely wrong. Let's find out. Because all you need to do at this stage of the game is find your buffing brush. There we are. Which is just a regular brush but clean. And you just sort of buff the colours together. Very gently. So I'm barely touching the miniature here. Just swirling the colours together. And it just blends it just beautifully. So, like I say, if you have not pulled the trigger on oil paints, or you're at all iffy about them being messy or anything like that, don't let it concern you. Just pull the trigger, because what these paints can do is absolutely incredible. You know, they've been using them for I was going to say thousands, but probably not quite that long. For a good long time. A good long time. Certainly hundreds of years. So then, you know, if you've been doing it for hundreds of years, can't all be wrong, can it? Although there are instances where that is definitely not true. The downside to oils is they take an absolute age to dry. Oh my word, they take a long time to dry. This won't be dry for probably until Wednesday. If I stick it in an airing cupboard. Crazy amount of time to wait. Oil paints, you want to clean your brushes. Bit of white spirit. Use white spirit like water. And then wipe off your brush. That's it. Clean as a whistle. And if you leave your dirty white spirit, eventually the paint pigment will settle and you can reuse it. Does get a bit smelly, I won't lie. It's getting pungent in here. So it's not for everyone, but you can get odourless solvents if you're worried about that kind of thing. Right, that's still got green and stuff on it. No, okay, we're all right with that. Right, put you over there. Put you over there. Oh yes. I knew I'd missed a bit. More Agaros dunes. because there is like a little golden hat pin there. Well, it's gold now. Which just adds a little bit of interest to the model. A bit more interesting. Let's get that a bit more golded up. I think we are approaching done there. Kind of want a bit more of attention to his blade though. A bit more attention to the blade. I think. What should we do? What should we do? Oh no. Oh my word. The lid wasn't on that properly. Oh dear. That's on the monitor. That shouldn't be on the monitor. That's not on the monitor. Okay, it's not the actual monitor. It's on my screen. It's that bit there. Some of it will be on the monitor. But I'm not going to know until the end of the stream. That's definitely not. What's that? Dry. That's what that is. So this is why you tune in, really. It's not for dazzling displays of competence, because that's not what happens here. You tune in for the occasional, more than occasional, constant muck-ups. This is typhus corrosion, which is a GW technical, which adds a little bit of texture and really works with the next stage in proceedings. I went through a lot of this when I was painting Nurgle, because it's kind of the law. You need to put a bit of typhus corrosion on your Nurgle miniatures. If there's no typhus corrosion, are you even Nurgling, bro? You see, that's what the lid looked like when I picked it up. But apparently that's not closed. But the Games Workshop lid design is fine. You know, it's not designed to not close and dry up your paints. No, of course not. That would be monstrously cynical of me to assume that they might design their paint pots to dry your paint up so you need to buy more. Monstrously cynical. Right. I need to find some more paint, because I wasn't expecting to get this far. Dry rust effects, I'll try a bit of that. Orange rust. Yeah. Okay. I think I will use a bit of metallic. I will use a little bit of, where have I put it? There we are. If you're not familiar with my channel, you will not know that I use this an awful lot, which is Vallejo acrylic duraluminum metal colour, because it is amazing. Easily the best metal colour on the market, and you can tint it and do all kinds of crazy stuff with it. But it covers really well, and it looks more like metal than any other paint that I've encountered. So when you're painting metal, that's a good thing. Okay, so we're going to go with a bit of Green Stuff World Rust here. This is the liquidy version. I'm going to put those oils over there so I don't get them mixed up. Liquidy Rust. Green Stuff World should sponsor me. They really should. I love their stuff. If you're listening to Green Stuff World, sponsor me. I will pimp your stuff. Right. Okay, so by now that typhus corrosion should have dried. So you just need a little bit of the rust on there to give it a little bit of colour. And you think that contrasts nicely with the green as well, I think. Maybe a little bit too heavy with the rust. Get your fingers in there. There we are. Who says finger painting isn't a thing? There we are. Anything else that needs rust? Not really. There we go. And we won't use any of that. That's basically the same thing but dry. So if you need to dry brush some big areas, I mean you can do all that with something like that. But why would you? There are better paints for it. Okay, this is where I really mess things up. Where did I put my... there we are. My buffing brush. I'm going to use that as a dry brush because bit of metal paint, metal paint. There we go. I'll put that in the side there. Beautiful. That's all you need. That's all you need. And the coverage on that is just special. Brilliant. And that's over white. It's incredible. The camera so you can see. It's fantastic stuff. Right. Let's get right. So we just need to get a few scrapes along the very edge of that, just so it looks like it's been sharpened over the corrosion, just to give that little hit of metal. And again, just to give the sense that it's... God, I can hardly see what I'm doing here, so you guys have no hope. So you see now, hopefully, why I used the brown as a base for that blade, because it gives it a nice deep colour. And you literally finish on off a little bit with the metal. And inevitably I've poured out far too much metal paint there. Actually no, let's go in and... Metal paint is another thing you don't really want to be using your expensive sable brushes with, for the same reason as contrast, because it will get it all up in the ferrules and wreck your brush. And ideally you want a different palette for it as well, because it will get into your palette and into your other colours and you will never see the end of it. The other thing you don't want to do with it is stick it in your wet palette. Yeah, like ever. Well, he's coming along, isn't he? Let's get a little bit of metallic hit up there on the fox. I suppose it's supposed to be a wolf head. A little bit of metallic hit up there, just a little bit of shine. Same with the hilt of the dagger. Beautiful, beautiful. Belt buckle. It's getting a bit lost in the brown there, so let's bring it out. Just a quick pass over, just to give it that quick metallic hit. Leading edge of that. Just give it a bit of highlighting there. Oh wow, we're so approaching down here. This is where I mess it all up though. If you're watching for me to mess it up, this is where it's going to happen. Fire Slayer, Flash Shadow, Dark Oath. Bit of Dark Oath. Bit of Dark Oath. Let's get that in there. Oh, did I? Yes, I did. Oh. You know that thing I just said not to do? You just watched me do it, didn't you? Yeah, you did. And you said nothing. Oh. Mick, you're supposed to be paying attention and warning me of these things. Oh, that'll do. It's alright. It's alright, it'll be fine. So this is the problem with Mick being a moderator for this channel, you see. He's a lovely bloke, but he doesn't pay attention because he's doing his own hobby thing in the hobby channel on say Hi Paul's Discord. So he's not really paying attention. Probably better off with a trained monkey. So that's a bit of dark oath flesh there, and I chucked in a little bit of Nazdrag yellow, which is another contrast, sort of a browny yellow. Yeah, see, he was painting. The nerve of the man. The nerve of the man. I'm chucking a little bit of extra contrast medium. I mean, who paints during a hobby session? Honestly. Right, okay. Now I'm scared. Now I'm scared. I don't want to do this. Don't want to do this. Don't want to do this. Why am I doing this? Somebody stop me. Right. Okay. Let's get that colour in there. That's a little bit more yellow than I thought it was going to be. Oh, why didn't anyone stop me? I think that goes around there, doesn't it? Not Agaros, where are you? Skeleton, no. Yes, let's do a bit of skeleton horde. Okay, this has all gone wrong. This is where we panic and fix it. Right, skeleton horde, going in there. Get a bit more colour in there. Wipe away with finger because, well, you can. Let's get a bit of. What have we got? What have we got? What have we got? No, that's Gilliman flesh. That's never going to work. Snakebite, where are you? Where did I put my snakebite, Mick? Mick, where's my snakebite? There it is. There it is. Now if it's going wrong, lean into it. Right. Okay. Let's get some extra shade in there. What are you painting anyway, Mick? What's everyone painting? I'm assuming everyone's painting something. This is a hobby channel. This is a watching paint dry and presumably hobbying along with. So what are we all painting? Cran, what are you painting? Nothing is not an acceptable answer. You know what? I think that might actually work. Let's get a bit of that white ink there. Turn it down a bit. Death Company still? I thought you painted those already. Oh no, you painted orcs instead, didn't you? And that was last week you were painting. You know, you're here to see me paint and ruin things, I might as well do it on camera, eh? Fixing an Exchange server, I suppose that's an acceptable. I don't know. Do you enjoy it? So, kind of a hobby, I suppose. Oh God, he looks like a member of ABBA now. There'll be a way to fix this. No. You know, if Boris Johnson had a beard, you know? Oh crap, I keep rubbing away at that green. Really mustn't. Let's darken it back down a bit. A shade, there we are. Primaris Tech Marine or Land Speeder Storm. No, do it then. Do it then. Who needs a server? Who needs a server? Don't say work, they don't count. Where's that brown? That's burnt sienna. You know what? I think we've reached the stage where we can make or break this. Actually, I'm just going to do the ground first, whilst I remember, because that's shyish purple. Watered down. And there. Bit of water. Water. Just over the lot, because they're in shyish, and I want it to look like they're in shyish rather than any town. I will add little accents like tufts and things to that later. So that's kind of purple. That needs to be purple as well. And what I will do at some stage, when things have dried a bit, is I will make use of, if I can find it. Yes, that stuff. Again, Green Stuff World, sponsor me. This stuff is really very cool. It adds just a hint of what's it used on? What's it really obvious on? Is it obvious on you? No. Did I even use it on you? Might not have done. Okay, we'll use it on you then. Cool. And I can show you what it does. Let's put you to the side for a minute, mate. There you go. Right. So, Green Stuff World, metal filters. Look like not at all what they're going to look like when they're on a miniature. And I'm just trying to get a little bit of a suggestion of purple reflected on the underside of this guy's armour. So this is what these filter line is about, is creating reflected light, coloured lights. So just on the underside, I mean, you can almost see that. I mean, it is so subtle, which is exactly what you want. Just on the underside, where it's reflecting the ground. It's got a lovely gloss on it as well, so that it catches the light. Just spots here and there, all on the underside of the armour and on the underside of that weapon. And this works on gold, it works on silver, it works on copper as well, just to give a little suggestion of purple, which is really hard to see on that, but trust me, in person you can tell. It's still subtle in person, but it's a bit more. Oh, I did get some on here. Yeah, perhaps a bit too subtle. Yeah. So that just adds a little note of purple to look like the metallic paint has reflected the. Oh my word! I love that cloak. How did I do that? Can't remember. I should write this stuff down. I think that was probably an oil wash, which was the next step for this guy. So we'll do that. Is that pre-mixed oil wash? See what it smells like. Do you smell like pre-mixed oil wash? Yes, you do. Excellent. Excellent. Right. Let's pop that there. So that is equal parts ivory black and burnt sienna. Oil paints, and that's still got loads of purple in it, so I won't use that. Give that a wash. There we are. There we are. So that's equal parts ivory black, burnt sienna, and some white spirit, just to give it a bit of a wash behaviour. And that can go pretty much all. I don't want to get too much on the wolf, because I like how he's looking at the moment. But pretty much everywhere else can get soused in that, apart from the jacket, because if I put that on there, because it's got white spirit in there, it'll reactivate the green and it will all go wrong. So we will leave that for the time being, and I will probably inevitably post pictures of this up on Instagram when it's done, so you can marvel at it or poke fun, whatever is your wish. And that can go over there as well. And then, as you saw me doing before, the secret grimdark is you're trying to create a strong contrast between light and shadow. And just get everything looking grimy without looking dirty, as it were. So you get one of these makeup brushes and just gently wipe it over the top just to get the very top layer of oil off. And it will, to get some on that blade as well, it will stain the paint, but you want it to. But you will get the absolute top layer off and it will create this lovely sort of blend everything together. I mean, I was worried about that pink and white looking like a stick of rock, but you know, with that colour wash over the top and blending everything together, it doesn't look so bad. Again, you need to be really kind of gentle with the. You can use a Q-tip for this, but this is a makeup applicator or something. A really gentle touch with this, because under this there's not much paint. It's quite easy to wipe it away if you're not careful. Let's get a bit of white spirit on there, because with a bit of white spirit you can get even more highlight coming out if you're like mental careful. Again, so delicate, just over the very top areas, just to create a bit of a. See, I've knocked a bit of the paint off there. Don't know whether you can see. Yeah, just on the side of his hat there. So it's quite easy to do. A little bit of care, a little bit of attention, though, and it should go smooth sailing. That's a thing of beauty. I'll fix that before I post it on Instagram. But I'm liking him. Oh yes, I was going to do the blade, wasn't I? Oh, what this does to metals! What this does to metals is incredible. There we are. It just smooths everything out. And does what you'd struggle to achieve with hours of blending. I'm calling him done. What do you think, guys? Move do good? Yeah, I'm okay with that. I should take a photo of him. I'd be justly proud, because he's like the big bad for Cursed City, and I think he's come out absolutely spot on. Cool beans. What time are we on? 9:30. 2 hours about this. 2 hours. This is supposed to be a quick technique. This is me spending more time on characters. I mean, if he'd been rank and file, I'd done about 10 of him by now. But I think we're going to call that a night for now. This is going to be a thing, I think, Monday nights, 7:30 UK time. I will paint something, or ramble about something, or I was going to look at the Discord and the work that other people had done. Shall I do that now, or shall I leave it? I think I'd better leave it. That can wait. So people who are in Say Hi Paul's Discord, if you stick things in the finished models gallery, if I've got time, I will take a look during my live stream and critique and offer constructive criticism and gush over them and all sorts of stuff if you want. If you don't want, don't put them there. Or if you really don't want, tell me not to. Cool. So that's me for the night, I think. Thank you for joining me, everybody. If you want to support what I do have a Patreon channel. It's just set up for tips or anything like that. I'm not really offering anything particularly. It's just sort of a cup of coffee type deal. I've also got an Instagram channel, again, Moog's Little Figures. You can look me up there. I've also got a Facebook page if you want to come and like that. That'd be super special. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment and do all that kind of good stuff with this stream. And I will see you next week, if not before. I will try to get some sort of tutorial put together if someone wants to send me a few ideas for what they want to see. So there's a look at him again. Just give him a sort of, I'll pretend to be a turntable. Doot 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 doot. Anyway.